Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys had a great weekend. It is Monday, so hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a good weekend. I told you guys on Wednesday, which is the last time y'all saw me, is my son's birthday, so he really just wanted to go to a hotel and go swimming. So we went to the Rainforest Cafe, which was a really nice cafe. If you haven't been to it, and there is one that is local to you, definitely go if you got like kids and stuff. It's probably best because it's a nice experience for them. Pretty awesome. We had a great time. Then we of course went to the hotel. They went swimming, had a good time. But with that being said, your girl is feeling under the weather. My throat has been a little dry and scratchy. I have been blowing my nose like every couple of minutes, y'all. It's just been a mess, okay? I wasn't even gonna get on camera today, but I'm like, I'm gonna do it just because, I also had to record the jobs that are hiring. So if you are looking for remote work, I just posted remote jobs on my personal channel. I will link that in the comments below, okay? Plus I have story time, vlogs, all of that is on my personal channel, so I'll link that in the comments below. Okay. So today's video, I'm sorry, before I get into today's video, for those who want to share stories, I figured out what I'm going to do so I don't make the videos too long. On Fridays, I'm going to do follower Fridays, which means I will tell a story just depends on how long the stories are. The story that I have in my email now is pretty long. So I'm going to do a shorter video on Friday. We'll still do the video. We'll do a shorter video. And then at the end, we're going to read any type of stories from my followers for Follower Friday. Okay, so if you have any stories that you want to send me, make sure you send it to me because I will be reading going Friday. Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to read more than one. It just depends on the time frame, but it still will get read either that Friday, the next Friday, etc. Just send them over. So my personal information, social media will be on the screen. So even if you want it anonymous, you can tell me anonymous and I'm just going to read it anonymous. Okay. So I will be reading the first one on Friday and go ahead and send them to me. Okay. All right. So today's video, I actually didn't plan on doing this topic, but it's going to be, and this is the first time we're doing it. It's going to be about glamour spells. Okay. If you don't know what a glamour spell is, let me just tell you. Okay. Let me just tell you, because I think because I was trying to look up how to describe it without properly, because I know what it is, but I didn't know how to really describe it to you if you don't know what it is, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm trying to find the words to describe it. Okay, so I'm gonna read you what ChatGPT says. It says, a glamour spell, often called glamour magic, is a type of magic focused on changing how others perceive you or how you perceive yourself. It doesn't literally change your physical appearance. Instead, it shifts energy, confidence, presence, and perception. Think of it as an energetic makeup or spiritual confidence at work. People use glamour spells to feel more confident or attractive, project a certain vibe, soft, powerful, mysterious, approachable, enhance beauty energy, draw attention or admiration, create a protective mask so others see what you choose to show. Okay. And they say it works energetically by like visualization, intention, energy shifting, physical anchors like makeup. And then it kind of gives you instructions on how to do it. Okay. So we're going to get into that later on in the video with my commentary. I'm going to tell you guys what I personally think about it, but let's go ahead and get into the videos. It's two different videos. Now, let me warn you, the second video was a lot, and I mean a lot, of cursing. And you probably wouldn't be able to tell because I did a lot of editing. But baby, if you go to the original story, you will be like, dang, there's like a cuss word almost every sentence, every other word. Like, it's a lot of cursing. I didn't know it was that much cursing when I first heard it. I just thought, oh, this is a good story, I'm gonna share this. And then when I was editing, I'm like, dang, this has a lot of cursing. So that's the reason why if you see like certain parts of the story is muted and it's a word, it's because obviously it was cursing. And I did not do that because we're not adults. I remember somebody was like, we're adults here, you don't have to do that. This is YouTube. I do have to do it. Trust and believe. I wish I could not have to do that, but I have to. Okay, so without further ado, y'all go ahead and watch these two stories. We'll be back at the end to discuss them.
Story time on the strongest and the scariest witch I have ever met in my entire life to this day. This happened a very long time ago. This was my midnight ballerina days. I wasn't even 21 yet. I think I was like 19. I'm 34 now, so you do the math. It was a while ago. So one day, me and my girlfriend Carmen, we come into work like normal. We come in and we see this elderly woman behind the counter speaking to our manager. So me and Carmen light up. We get super excited because we're thinking we have a new house mom. If you don't know what a house mom is, it's pretty much, it's always usually, in my experience, it's an older woman, right? And she like sells everything. Shoes, bikinis, snacks, tampons, like little things like that, right? So we're excited. We race over to her because we want to be the first ones, you know, to see the goods. What you got, girl? So we run over to her, we introduce ourselves, and we're looking around and we notice like there's no like bags around. Usually these ladies carry like these gigantic suitcases with them with all their stuff in it. She only has like a little gym bag. So we're like, do you need help? We're thinking like she has stuff in the car or something. And we're like, do you need help like bringing the stuff in? And she's like, no. She was like super polite. She's like, no. And we're like, okay. So me and Carmen are like, maybe she's a vendor or something, right? Go to the back, we get ready, we come out, and Tony, my manager, calls us over. Me and Carmen walk over. Tony's like, hey, would you ladies like show her the ropes? Me and Carmen are like looking at each other, and we look at him. We're like, what do you mean show her the ropes? He's like, she's gonna dance here, show her around. And I'm like, me and Carmen immediately start laughing, right? And this wasn't to be like mean. We started laughing because we genuinely thought he was joking. This lady, I'm not trying to be mean or like bag on older people, because I've worked with some beautiful older women. Like I've worked with 50-year-old women that didn't look a day over 30 and ran laps around the 20-year-olds. We're laughing because we genuinely think he's joking. This lady looked like a grandma. I don't know how else to explain it. Like she looked like a grandma. So me and Carmen started laughing, but we noticed that they're not laughing. So we stopped laughing. So we see that they're both very serious. So immediately me and Carmen are like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. Like, you guys are serious. I'm so sorry. And the lady, I'm telling you, this lady was so sweet. She was like, it's okay. I actually get that a lot. So we're like, okay. After showing her around, we leave her alone in the dressing room so she can get ready, do her thing. And me and Carmen, we go off and we're like, we weren't talking. I guess we were, I don't know. We were both like, what the is she doing here? Like, she is going to get hurt. Literally, this lady was that old. And then we start feeling really bad for her. I'm like, oh my God, like who grandmama is this? She should be home eating her little abuelita cookies and drinking her hot chocolate and watching her novelas. Like whose grandmama is this? And then we're like, oh my God, the banshees are going to eat that lady alive. Now, the banshees were a group of mean girls that we used to work with over there, right? So we actually run up to her and tell her this. We're like, look, there's this group of women that you are going to come across. And these women are just straight trouble. Stay away from them, right? Ignore them. They're going to be mean to you. They're mean to everybody. She looks at us and she literally like chuckles and like, don't worry. I'm not worried about it. And it was the way that she said it. I can't describe it or mimic it. It was the way that she said it. It was an energy. The way that she said it gave me and Carmen both the chills. But she was so nice to me and Carmen. Like, she was so sweet. She was literally like a grandma. So later on the night, the banshees come, right? These wait 5 minutes. They're already there. Me and Carmen are back there, and we're like defending the lady. We're like, dude, leave her alone. It's her first day here. Leave her alone. And the lady tells us to stop. The lady's like, honey, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Let them talk their. So, like, we're back. I'm back there witnessing all this. Me and Carmen are back there watching this. And the whole time, she's just smiling, doing her, like they're not there. Like, she doesn't hear them. So we all, go out to the floor, trying to make our money or whatever. Nobody, including me and Carmen, made money. That lady made all of the money that night, right? That lady must have walked out with at least, because we know how much the dances are worth. We were like counting them. This lady got like 6 VIPs that night, so she walked out with at least, like, after tipping everyone out, with at least $800. This goes on for 2 weeks. Nobody makes money. Only that lady. So this pisses the banshees off, right? They are bullies, like straight up bullies, right? They start like taking her makeup brushes and throwing them in the toilet and cutting her bikinis and breaking her heels. Like, we had lockers, but like sometimes the lockers were really small, so we couldn't fit all her stuff in. And so they were just destroying whatever stuff she left out. So this goes on for like 2 weeks, right? And me and Carmen, we get curious. We're like, is she like like, you know, giving Nookie in the back, like, what the fuck is going on? How is she making all this money? So we start, during those 2 weeks, me and Carmen are like examining this lady, like, what is she saying? What is she doing? And I swear to God, this lady, every time she talked to someone, that the person she was talking to never spoke. I swear to God, it was like they were in a trance, right? And then you would just see them get up and go to the back for a VIP. So me and Carmen are like, what the? We get nosy, right? We get curious and we peek back there to see if she's like doing anything, and she's not. She's just, you know, slowly dancing. But we notice she's like, it looks like she's talking. The music is really loud back there. It looks like she's talking. These guys are just sitting there. Like I said, for 2 weeks straight, nobody made any money. So me and Carmen are like, we're gonna go to another club for a little bit because we got rent to pay. So me and Carmen walk to the back to the dressing room to get our bags and stuff, right? When me and Carmen walk into that dressing room, that lady is sitting by herself in the corner of the dressing room. The way the dressing room was, it had these wraparound mirrors all around the dressing room. But when you walked in, to the immediate right was these set of lockers. So like where she was sitting, she couldn't see us, but we could see her in the reflection of the mirror. And I shit you not, I swear on everything and everyone that I love, we see this lady sitting in front of her mirror going like this, like shaking her head and going like this with her hands right in front of the mirror. And she's chanting, right? And we don't understand. Me and Carmen both speak Spanish. This isn't Spanish or English. So me and Carmen clocked it. We look at each other and we like slowly back out. We're like, yeah, she's a bruja. She's doing witchcraft. That makes a lot of sense now. So after like a week of bouncing around clubs, we go back to our home club, right? And both me and Carmen have an envelope in our lockers. And there's money in the envelopes. We both got $400 each. And there's a letter from that lady thanking both me and Carmen for being nice to her. And me and Carmen are both like, oh, that is so nice. Like, wow, she didn't have to do that. That was so nice of her. So after like 3 nights of us working at our home club, we noticed that the banshees aren't there. It turns out that the week that me and Carmen were gone, one by one, those were being taken out. And I apologize ahead of time for saying this with a smile on my face. Like, no one deserves these terrible things that happen to them. But these were a terror. Like, seriously, the ringleader of the banshees, right? She had a child and the baby died of SIDS. The second girl lost her life to domestic violence. The third girl got into a horrible car accident and could not dance ever again. The fourth girl, I guess, went to a party and had taken some stuff and lost her mind and was never the same ever again. And the fifth lady ended up in prison for a long time for moving stuff for her boyfriend. So, yeah. I know 1000% with my whole heart, for a fact, it was that lady, the bruja. All those girls that were with her got theirs in the end. And I know it was that lady. And me and Carmen never saw that lady again, which is really weird because in that world, dancing, especially like in LA, you eventually always end up running into the same dancers because LA is small and there's not that many clubs. We never saw that lady again. And like, I'm sorry that all those terrible things happened to those women, but the club had never been so peaceful ever. Like, that lady cleaned up shop.
Okay, we got a spooky scary dating story time from a guy named Tyler who says his ex-girlfriend Kelly used Glamour Magick on him to not only make him obsessed with her, but to also get on a dating reality show. And he says he hates her, but he can't get her out of his mind and he needs help. So he said he wouldn't have known that she was practicing Glamour Magick if it wasn't for his sister Cassie. And Cassie basically said she listened to everything that this girlfriend was doing and was like, yeah, that's Glamour Magick. Sorry, you're stuck with her now. Tyler met Kelly 2 years ago. He was working security at a club. Kelly and her friends came in. That's how they started talking. They ended up hitting it off. And he asked her out. She says yes. They go out for cocktails. And then he noticed that every time she took a sip of her drink, she would whisper something to her drink before she took a sip of it. He's like, what are you doing? She's like, I whisper intentions to my drink. It helps me. And he's like, okay, it's different. It's a little bit quirky. He noticed anytime he would go out with her, she would turn heads. And she was pretty, he said, but it wasn't like, she wasn't like a supermodel or anything like that. But she just seemed to stop everybody in the room in her tracks. But he thought it was just because she had this energy about her, just this big personality. And even though he described himself as being a little bit more reserved, more quiet, it didn't bother him. He said, by nature, I'm not a jealous person, okay? And this is important because Kelly also had a lot of friends. He noticed when he first looked at her social media pages, she had this one best friend specifically, but she had tons of pictures with like tons of different people. She was always in social events, going to different parties, different gatherings, whatever. She was a socialite of sorts, but she worked as a hairstylist at the It salon in the small town where they live. One day after about 3 months of dating, Kelly calls him and she's crying and she's like, hey, I need to come over. I think I need to move out of my apartment. Me and my best friend who she lived with got into a huge argument. She hates me. She's just really jealous of me. And he's like, okay, slow down. Like, whatever. Of course, come over, bring whatever you need. So she comes over, she brings her dog, and he's like, what happened? She's like, she just hates me. She's just been jealous of me for a while. I've tried to let it go, but it's just getting a breaking point. Like, do you think I can move in with you until I get everything sorted out? And he said that they weren't that serious, but they were dating exclusively, but they had no other issues. So he was like, yeah, of course you can stay with me. But he lived in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. He said he wasn't ready to live with her, but obviously he got along with her. He liked her a lot, helped her move in. He said when he was moving her in, she had a lot of stuff, and he had never lived with a woman before, but he was like, okay, this is just like a woman thing. But he did say that she had 2 cardboard boxes, like big cardboard boxes that were just full of black candles, like I guess the $1 ones that you buy at the craft store or whatever. He said, I knew women liked candles, I just didn't know they liked them that much, but whatever. He doesn't question it. He just brings it all in. She also has one big box that is just photo albums, and he doesn't look through them, but he asked her about it. He's like, do you think we can get a storage unit while you're staying here? Because I don't really have a lot of storage space in my apartment. She says, no, I need those things. And he's like, okay. So he said he ended up getting a storage unit for some of his things in order to keep her things that she said she needed in his apartment. He tries to ask her about the best friend situation, what actually happened, and she just says, F her, she's jealous of me, blah, blah, blah. He did notice when she first moved in that she would go in the bathroom every night for about 2 hours, and he was just watching TV or gaming with his friends. He said he didn't really give it that much thought because, again, he's never lived with a woman. He doesn't know how much time they spend in the bathroom. I guess he just thought she was taking very long baths or something. But one night, about a month after she's staying there, and he said up to this point she was a good roommate, girlfriend, whatever. She was paying rent, like she was keeping it clean. She was making little snacks. Everything was cool. He really had to pee. So he goes to the bathroom. He knocks. He's like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I really have to pee. She says, it's part of my process. I can't come out. And he's like, your process? Like, I really have to pee. Like, can you just... I won't look at you if that's what you're worried about in the bath. Like, I just really need to pee. And she says no, and she starts yelling at him. So he ends up going outside the apartment complex and like peeing outside. He comes back in. She's out of the bathroom. She's locked herself in the bedroom, and he knocks on the door, and she's like angry at him, and she's like, you ruined my process, blah, blah, blah. He goes in the bathroom and realizes there is like ash all over the bathroom. And he said he thought that this was related to the black candles because there were like a couple that were half burned, and she kept these in the bathroom. He thought just for aesthetic purposes. He thought it was weird that she just like didn't clean up after herself. So he's like, what is going on with the bathroom? And she said, I told you interrupted my process, you know, whatever. It ends up being a fight. He sleeps on the couch that night, but it's not that big of a deal. They end up working it out, and Kelly ends up making really close friends as time goes on with this other girl that she worked with at the salon, and that becomes her new best friend. And all of a sudden, Kelly is always going out with this girl. Her social pages are like filled with pictures of her and this girl, and essentially she's replaced this other girl that Kelly used to live with. And about a month after that, she's even talking about potentially moving in with this new best friend. And Tyler's like, cool, you know, whatever you want to do. But I guess those two end up having some kind of falling out, and now she's back to square one, and she's just continuing to live with Tyler. When they had been living together for about 3 months, this process repeats, and she meets another friend that she's hanging out with. All of a sudden, she starts dressing like that friend, and basically he said that at this point he realized that she had become basically both of the girls that she was friends with in the past, but now she was doing it to this third person. And so she would change her entire personality, her entire style every time she made a new friend. Same thing happens. She starts talking about potentially moving in with this girl. And Tyler said at that point, like, he was ready for her to move out. Like, they were still getting along. They weren't having any fights. They were working as a couple. But again, it's very early in the relationship. Like, he's just not ready to live with someone full time yet. He also said that what bothered him is that she would stay out late a lot of the time with this new friend, and he would end up taking care of her dog, like getting up in the middle of the night to take it out because this dog was a senior. It had bladder issues. There was just a lot. So he was taking on more responsibility than he had initially signed up for, I guess. But the same thing happens. Her and this new girl end up having a fight, and now they're back to square one. So he's like, what is going on with this girl? One night he goes to work, and he's still working security at this bar or club, and he ends up getting cut early and sent home. He said he wanted to do something nice for Kelly because he knew that Kelly had taken this recent breakup with her friend pretty hard. And she said the same things. Like, she's just jealous of me. Everybody's jealous of me. She just doesn't understand me, blah, blah, blah. That's why we're not friends anymore. So he wanted to do something nice for her. So he decided he wasn't going to tell her he was coming home early. And he picked up Mexican food and was just going to surprise her. So he walks in the door, and he's shocked because she's sitting at the kitchen table and she has black soot all over her face and arms. I guess he determined this was candle ash because there were 3 black candles burning on the table. And she was sitting in front of one of the photo albums, which she slammed shut the second he walked in the door. He said, what are you doing? I brought you Mexican food. And she said, oh my God, this is part of my process. Why didn't you tell me you were coming home early? And she starts freaking out and screaming at him. She grabs the photo album. She goes in the bedroom, slams the door, locks the door. He's like, cool, I guess I'm sleeping on the couch again. He goes in the bathroom, and he notices there's 3 pieces of tape on the mirror. And on these 3 pieces of tape are the 3 names of the 3 friends that she has had breakups with in the last couple months. Just regular duct tape. He pulls it off. He thinks it's weird. He doesn't think much about it. He goes on the couch. He texts her. She doesn't respond. He figures they'll work it out the next day. It's a weekday, so the next day she wakes up early to go to work. She comes out of the bedroom. He wants to talk to her. She doesn't want to talk to him. She says, leave me alone. You ruined my process. She leaves. He's upset because she doesn't want to talk to him. He goes in his bedroom to go back to sleep, and he notices that she has left the photo book on the floor. So he opens it up, and he's immediately creeped out because he thought it was going to be a normal scrapbook or photo album, but it wasn't at all. She had pasted these pictures of her and her friends, but she had cut all the faces out of these friends and basically superimposed them over herself. Next to all of these pictures, she had written things like, I have Jenny's confidence. I have Jenny's hair. I have Jenny's look. And so on for all of these girls that she had hung out with over the last few months. But it wasn't just them. There were other people that he had never met before, never seen before. He had seen some of them on her social media, but basically she had cut out all of their faces, put them over her own face in the photos, and then written what she had admired about those people, I guess as a form of affirmation. He said maybe just seeing their faces cut out of the pictures weirded me out, but I was deeply unsettled by this. And he said at that point he felt like she may have had some kind of depression or underlying identity issue that she wasn't dealing with. So he wanted to help her. So when she came home from work that day, he took out the photo album and he said, do you want to talk about this? Like, what's going on? How can I help you feel more secure with who you are? And when he presents her with this, she immediately freaked out and she grabbed it back from him and she says, you have no idea what you have done. You've interrupted my process and I will make you pay for this. He heard her on the phone that night. She packed her bag. She had her mom come get her and she left and she told him that he could keep her dog. I don't know how you could abandon a senior dog, but anyway, he said he still has it, so that's fine. So she leaves and he was upset by it because he said the whole breakup didn't make sense in his mind. Like, he just wanted to help her, but she just didn't want anything to do with him. She stopped responding to his calls, stopped responding to his texts. So he called his sister and he told his sister everything that happened. She said, yeah, women don't act like that. Like, she was practicing some kind of glamour magic on you. Like, I'm glad that you got away from her. Time goes on and he is actually really relieved that she's gone. He said he didn't realize how much of a mental strain it was to have her living there and constantly going through these friend breakups and things like that. But he starts dreaming about her almost constantly. He said he didn't want her, like, logically, but for some reason he couldn't get her out of his head. Everything reminded him of her and he felt this growing need to call her and check up on her, but she never answered. She never responded to his texts. One night he said he came out to his car to go to work and he noticed that there was this very strange symbol carved into the driver's side door of his car. And he didn't think this was related to Kelly at all until he sent a picture to his family and his sister responded and said, oh my God, I bet that's Kelly. I bet she, is doing something to you. He told the guys he worked with about it. The guys were like, I think you're going crazy. I think you're just like obsessed with her because you thought that she was hot. He said it's been a year since he's talked to her, had any contact with her, but he's still obsessed with her. He cannot get her out of his mind or out of his dreams. And so he said, if anybody has any suggestions on how to stop thinking about her, please let me know. She has blocked him from all social media, so it's not like he's seeing her. But recently, his sister, who watches this dating show, sent him a link that shows this girl on the dating show. And in the video, she's talking about manifestation. He said he can't bring himself to watch the show, but he says, I feel like she is doing something more than manifestation. So if anyone has any ideas on how to break this bind that she has created, I would love to know.
Okay, so if you did not learn anything, first thing first, treat people with respect. I cannot stand a person who looks good on the outside but ugly on the inside. I cannot stand that. And I have been around that quite a few times where the person is externally beautiful, gorgeous, etc., but the insides are ugly. Okay, ugly. I cannot stand that. And a lot of people will think that those people are confident, but they actually don't be confident. They actually be insecure in that they feel better by making other people feel sad, So it's really important that we remember that as adults, we remember that as parents, and teach our kids. Now, it's not going to get through to some kids just yet. Like, my son is one of those kids to where he will just say what's on his mind and not realize that it's wrong. Like, it's hurting people's feelings. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. My daughter, she in her classroom, she met this friend. They live in our neighborhood, and they wanted to play with each other, and he wanted me to meet his mama. So I went to his house. Me, my son, and my daughter. As soon as we walk in the house, here go my son. It stank. He don't even say it stink. He say it stank, And they are of a different culture, so I think that they were cooking something, or they might have just cooked something. You know what I mean? Like, he's just not used to that. And he don't realize that it's rude to do that. Like, I don't know if they heard him or not, because I don't think they were around when he said it. But I'm just like, oh my God, please, like, not say, and remind you, I have talked to him all the time about this kind of stuff, but logically, and I didn't even know this, I had actually looked into this. Logically, kids' brains don't know how to turn that off until they get over the age of 8. And he just turned 7 last week. So, like, stuff that be common to my daughter who's 9, like, she gets that. Like, she would never do that. My son, he'll just say stuff that's on his mind. You know what I mean? So when it comes to kids, you got to just have patience with them and continue to teach them, and they'll eventually get it. Let's hope. But as adults, we just have to remember that, keep teaching our kids that, be nice to others. Don't say this, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's important. And that story of, what she called her, the Bruja, I'm assuming, she's Hispanic. So all of my Hispanic followers, y'all can tell me, I think Bruja, she said Bruja, right? Or Bruja. Don't laugh at me, y'all, but witch. Okay. I think that's what that means. you know, with that story of the like strippers and being mean to the older lady and stuff like that, that kind of just shows you to always treat people with respect. It doesn't matter what you know, believe or think about when it comes to them individually. Like, y'all might not even get along, and that's fine, but I feel like still in a way treat people with respect, especially if you don't know them. Okay, it doesn't give people a right to be mean to you, walk over you, etc. And realize and normalize you don't got to deal with people. I don't care if they're your family, I don't care if it's your child, I don't care what it is, but you don't have to deal with people. Okay. I remember there was a point in time to where me and certain family members just did not get along. Like, very long, we did not get along. We couldn't even be in their room very long, to where it would be awkward or something like that. We were always falling out with each other, right? And I had to set boundaries, okay? And there was definitely a time period where I wasn't talking to certain family members for like months at a time. And before we could get cool or back on that level, we had to have uncomfortable conversations, and boundaries had to be set. And now that that has happened, I have not had falling outs with them, like barely ever, you know? So just normalize that. Your peace of mind does matter. So I'm not saying let people walk over you, just don't deal with them. I'll block people real quick on social media. I'll block you verbally where we ain't got to talk, whatever. Your peace of mind does matter, okay? But I'm not speaking for people who are problematic yourself, because you need to check that. But I'm talking about people who are mean to you for no reason. You ain't got to deal with that. People who are toxic in your life for no reason, you ain't got to deal with that. But overall, like meeting strangers, meeting new people, treat people with respect. People have disabilities. People might look different than you, but treat them with respect, because you never know. That person could be a blessing in your life. That person could take you to the next level. And don't do it for that reason. I'm just saying, you just never know who that person is. It might be a guardian angel, God testing you. You just never know. Okay. So I feel like with the stripper story, that was like an important lesson for people to treat people with respect. Okay. And karma, be real. This is what I be talking about. Some people don't be believing in karma. You ain't got to believe in karma for it not to happen, honey. Okay. Treat people with respect. When it comes to glamour spells, it just depends. I am a person, and again, let me just put that out for all the new followers. I am not a religious person. I am a spiritual person. Yes, I still believe in God. I am not an atheist. I am just more in alignment, I feel like, with spirituality versus following a particular religion. But I don't allow any type of spiritual condemning, bullying, or any of that on my channel. So you are free to comment what you want to comment based off of your own spiritual / religious beliefs. Just don't talk down to others based off of your beliefs, because people come from different cultures, belief systems, etc. Okay, so let's just be open-minded to that and respect everybody. No spiritual bullying. Okay. So when it comes to Glamour Magick, in my opinion, I don't really think it's necessarily a bad thing. Y'all know I believe in manifesting. I believe in law of attraction. I believe in scripting. I feel like everything in my life has came. I ain't gonna say everything, but like the most recent blessings that I have had in my life, I literally wrote down. That's scripting, which is a part of manifesting. Okay. And Glamour Magick, in a way, is also a part of manifesting. It just depends. I will say it depends on your intention. I believe I have heard people use Glamour Magick for just themselves because they had low self-esteem. So they'll do things like look in the mirror and talk highly about themselves. I've done this to my daughter before, and I didn't even know about Glamour Magick at this time. Like, I had no idea about it, but she did cheerleading. She went to her first cheerleading practice. And you know, when they're young, it's just a volunteer thing. You just sign them up, pay the fee, right? So after her first practice, she felt discouraged because she's like, she didn't feel like she was confident enough. She just didn't, she just didn't feel like the it person to do cheerleading, right? She didn't feel like it was her personality. So, but she still wanted to do it. So I put her in the mirror and I had her speak positive over herself, and she felt better afterwards. That, in a way that I did not know, is a part of Glamour Magick. And I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. I think it depends on your intentions. So for example, I'm gonna give you a bad example. Let's say that I'm looking in the mirror like, I want all my best friends to be jealous of me and envy me. All of my best friends will be jealous of me and envy me. I am putting a spell over this my lover, every time he sees me he's just gonna fall at his knees, because that in a way is relating and corresponding to love spells. Okay, so there is a difference. It's always going to be the intention behind something. So I feel like if you are doing it for the intentions of like having self-confidence, self-love, self-care, I personally don't feel like there's nothing wrong with that. You're just putting energetic love into yourself. That's very spiritual. I think you should always speak highly of yourself. I think your mindset, your thoughts, your words are very powerful. So I see multiple people, especially on TikTok, talking about have they done glamour spells on themselves and how they have been more confident. They have manifested a lot of good things in their life. I just don't feel like you should do it to anybody else. Okay, so don't do a glamour spell and speak over anybody else based off of your appearance, if that makes sense. Okay, so I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I just, again, will always feel like it depends on intention when it comes to Glamour Magick. Okay, but with that being said, like I told y'all before, I really don't believe in doing harm to anybody else. I think it depends on the spell, what the intention is for, but I'm not a person who feels like you should put anything on anybody. If they have to go against their will, I personally feel like it's not something that is right. Okay, but regardless of what you do, what you practice, always be safe, always be careful. Make sure you do a lot of research into it, look into people who have had experiences with it, good or bad. The bad part about glamour spells that I have heard is that some people, first of all, they said it does not work if you are not confident within yourself. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example. If you are overall a low vibrational person, I'm not talking about like something happens to where you get sad all of a sudden and you need a boost. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you have all your life been a low vibrational individual to yourself, meaning that you don't have no confidence in yourself, no self-love, you don't take care of yourself, nothing like that. They say glamour spells don't really work. You have to have the powerful intention behind it of believing in yourself. It just is a boost. You know what I mean? It's an enhancement. It's a boost. That's what I have heard. I have not practiced it intentionally. Okay. But that's what I have heard. But, you have to, I heard that like when you do it, you have to keep doing it. There was this girl on TikTok who said that she did a glamour spell and, she's for a while and then she just stopped doing it. I think she said she forgot to continue to do it. And then she started getting like, start breaking out. She started gaining weight, just all kind of stuff. And I will always believe magic and stuff like that is the intent behind it and the belief behind it of it working. Okay. So if I be like, hey, if you wear this ring, then you are going to be the most attractive woman in the world when you wear this ring. Okay. You're going to have boys falling at their knees for you, men falling at their knees for you, want to take you on dates and everything. Right. And I give it to you. You be like, oh my God. And then you put it on and then all of a sudden you feel that way because you're manifesting it. It has now become your reality. So I always believe it's the intention and belief behind the manifesting, the magic, etc. Okay. So I believe with her specifically, with her story, if she has to continue to do glamour spells, because she put the energy, intent, and belief behind it. That's the reason why when she doesn't do it, she feels like she's not going to feel all these wonderful things physically that's happening to her. So that's her reality. So that's what I feel. I hope it makes sense to y'all. Okay. But always, as always, be spiritually protective. That's the intention of this channel as always. So let me know what y'all think. Do y'all have any experience with Glamour Magick? Remember, if you have any stories to share with me, make sure you share them with me. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys on the next one.